Zara doesn't run ads. No TV commercials, no celebrity endorsements, no influencer deals. Nothing. They spend less than 0.3% of revenue on marketing, in an industry where everyone else blows 3 to 5%. And yet they're the biggest fashion retailer on the planet. So either everyone else is wasting their money, or Zara figured out something the rest of the industry hasn't. Turns out, it's a bit of both.
The global fashion industry spends billions of dollars trying to guess what you will want to wear next year. They pour even more capital into advertising to convince you they guessed right. Yet Zara built a retail empire while spending almost zero on traditional ads and completely ignoring long-term trend forecasting. To understand the origin of this model, we have to look back to post-World War II Spain. In 1948, a 12-year-old boy watched a local shopkeeper refuse to give his mother credit for basic groceries. Her family simply did not have the money. That boy immediately dropped out of school to find work. His name was Amancio Ortega. That early experience with economic exclusion created a lifelong drive to make goods accessible to the masses, removing the barriers that kept everyday people out of the market. By 1963, Ortega had saved enough to start Confecciones Goa, a modest manufacturing workshop in A Coruña, Spain, making quilted bathrobes and lingerie. This gave him an unusual education. Because Ortega spent over a decade mastering the manufacturing side before he ever opened a retail store, he saw exactly where the traditional supply chain bled money. He saw the inefficiencies of producing clothes months in advance, only to be forced into markdowns when the seasonal trends failed to materialize. When the first Zara opened in 1975, it operated as the retail endpoint for a manufacturing system Ortega had spent 12 years refining. He had built a factory that finally had its own storefront. In 1975, Ortega opened that first store in downtown A Coruña. At the time, the fashion industry operated on a rigid top-down system. Designers and factories dictated the trends, producing collections 6 months to a year in advance and pushing them onto the consumer. Ortega reversed this dynamic. He built a system where the customer's real-time desires pulled the product from the factory. If shoppers in his store wanted something different, the factory adapted immediately. This structural shift of power from the designer to the buyer allowed Zara to scale. By producing only what people were already asking for, the clothes sold themselves, reducing the need for traditional marketing campaigns. As the brand grew, the rest of the fashion industry rushed to outsource production to factories in Asia to cut costs. Zara went the opposite direction. This map of Europe and North Africa illustrates Zara's commitment to vertical integration. They keep over 50% of their production in-house or nearshored in a tight cluster across Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. This is a deliberate trade-off. Ortega accepted higher labor costs in exchange for total control over the manufacturing process and an unmatched level of speed. Proximity changed the mechanics of the business. Logistics ceased to be a cost to be minimized and became the primary driver of their speed. While a traditional retailer requires 4 to 6 months to move a garment from a designer's sketchpad to a store shelf, Zara can complete the entire cycle in as little as 15 days. This data flow map shows how that speed plays out in reality.
In 2015, customers in Tokyo, Toronto, and Frankfurt all walked into local Zara stores asking for a pink scarf. The stores didn't carry one, but those requests were immediately logged and pinged to headquarters in Spain. The reaction was immediate. Within 7 days, 500,000 pink scarves were produced and shipped out globally. 3 days later, they sold out. Today, this listening machine is powered by the Inditex Open Platform. Zara's designers monitor live sales data, track exactly which items are taken into fitting rooms using RFID chips, and analyze emerging keywords on social media. By reacting to hard data in a matter of days, Zara replaces industry guesswork with algorithmic reaction. They don't have to guess what you might want next season, because they are responding to what you want right now. This brings us back to the central paradox. Zara maintains global dominance while spending a mere 0.3% of its revenue on marketing. Rather than buying television spots or billboard space, Zara reallocates that capital into acquiring prime retail real estate and funding bi-weekly store deliveries. They also engineer scarcity by producing items in small, limited batches.
If you see a jacket you like on a Tuesday, it likely won't be there by Friday. This trains customers to buy on the spot. By combining high-profile real estate with constant product scarcity, the physical storefront itself becomes the advertisement. It generates habitual foot traffic and organic discovery without relying on campaign-driven hype. But by the 2020s, the landscape shifted. A new breed of ultra-fast fashion competitors, like Shein and Temu, digitized the supply chain, operating at speeds and volumes that challenged Zara's dominance. Simultaneously, the fashion industry faced a massive cultural and regulatory backlash over the environmental impact of the high-volume, fast fashion model. Relentless speed and high-volume turnover, the catalysts for Zara's global reach, became its primary liability as environmental and social scrutiny intensified. Zara had reached the limits of its original model. Survival in the 2020s required a strategic pivot toward quality over sheer volume. In 2022, the company executed a generational handover. Marta Ortega Perez, the daughter of the founder, took over as the new chairwoman of Inditex. She immediately issued a mandate that shifted the focus of her father's legacy. She moved the company toward a philosophy of selling well rather than just selling more. To execute this shift, she aligned the brand with prestigious high-fashion photographers, strategically raised prices, and launched Zara Pre-Owned, a program to repair and resell used garments. The company also rolled out new sustainability commitments, setting a target to achieve net zero emissions across its entire value chain by 2040. The strength of the system is its alignment. Zara succeeded not by predicting the future, but by building a machine capable of responding to the present and pivoting that strategy when the market demanded a move from selling more to selling well.
What makes Zara scary isn't just the speed. It's that their entire business model makes traditional fashion companies look like they're operating in slow motion. And the wildest part? Most of them still haven't figured out how to copy it. Subscribe. I break down one business story like this every day.